Hello, I'm Anita with beamdesigns.com. I'm here to help you create awesome digital scrapbook layouts by sharing my layouts with you. This is week 17 of 52 DigiScrap layouts I'm creating in 52 weeks. This week's layout is a set of 3 photos that's going into the wedding album, which I am creating. It is the coordinating page for last week's layout here. This one has the 3 photos on it, and I went ahead and started the layout by opening a new image, bringing in my 3 photos. I used the scale tool, the crop tool, to get them into the right size and for my idea for this layout. They're all here ready to go. You'll see on this layout, I also have guidelines that I've brought in. These guidelines are each 1/2 inch inside the outer perimeter of the image. This represents what could be waste during the printing process. So once we're finished with my layout and I send it to the printer to put into a bound book, it's possible that anything within that 1/2 inch could get cut off during the printing process. So I don't want to put anything important inside that area. So I'm going to put those lines in there just to help me to remember that. So you can see here in my open images that I have my papers and my elements ready to go. So let's go ahead and bring in the main paper and drag and drop that into our image. And this is our matte paper. I will, as always, provide information regarding the kits that I'm using on this layout in the description box below the video. So let's reorder those. And I'm going to use my move tool, kind of put him in place. And I want the 2 small photos to be above the large one. So let's reorder that. Excellent. So let's go to our matte paper. And we are going to need to have 4 of these because we're going to have 4 mats, 2 large mats for the large photo and a mat for each of the small ones. So let's go ahead and duplicate that so that we have 4 here on our layer palette. So with the top one active, let's just make sure that they have alpha channels, and they don't. So let's go ahead and take care of that because an alpha channel is going to give this layer the ability to have some transparency once we cut away part of that digital paper. Okay, with our layer active, let's use our crop tool, and I'm going to loosely draw around the outer edge of the photo. Let's take a look at our tools, and it shows that shows what I drew was a 2024 by 2040. So I want that to be 2000 by 2000 pixels. And it doesn't really matter where it is on the paper because yeah, it doesn't really matter. So we're going to go ahead and apply that. And let's move to the next layer down, the next digital paper down, and let's do another one. And make that one also 2000 by 2000 size and apply that. So now we have those 2. Let's move down to the third one and let's use the crop tool again. And we're going to draw around this one. I'm going to need this one to be 900 by 900 and crop. And our fourth one, once again, the same thing. And click inside of it. And there we have it. We now have all of our mats. So let's use our move tool and Move them around. Okay, so you see that the mat here underneath our left small photo, the mat is below, it looks like it's below all kinds of things. So let's take a look and see where it is here, and let's move it on the layer palette. We moved it to just under the photo that it relates to. And we did it to the other one as well. Use my move tool to move our mat to be under the photo. And so I'm looking here to the right small photo. I'm looking here and showing that there's a good boundary. Actually, we could give this one, we could move this one a little bit to the left here because we don't have to be um, inside this boundary. We could be on this boundary if we really, really wanted to be. Okay, pretty good, pretty good. Let's move this one down just a little bit further. There we go. That allows some space here, some space here. Okay. And so here we have our photos and our mats ready to go. Our next step is going to be um, taking a look at bringing in our elements. So you see that I have a ribbon. So let's bring our ribbon into here. And we have a cross and a feather and a flower. So we have all of our pieces. Let's do a basic, the flower is going to kind of go there. The feather is going to go here and here. Okay, so let's start with that feather. I want to move that feather on the layer palette to be below our mat. That flower is really overwhelming. So let's go ahead. Well, first stop, reset. Let's pull away from scaling because I want 3 flowers. So let's duplicate it twice. So now we have 3 flowers. Now we can scale each one of them to be a tad bit different size. Move down and do this one just a little bit bigger. And then we'll make this last one really small. Now we have 3 sizes. So let's move them around. Let's see, big one, medium one. Okay, some of those were really big. Let us, let's make this one smaller. Really small. Scale. Now let's move. Let's move these around. Let's move the larger one here. And all right, let's do that. Let's do this. And our ribbon. So let's get our ribbon layer. Let's do our scaling on the ribbon. And the cross. Scale. Move tool. Let's move that there. Let's rotate that cross just a little bit. Our next step in the process is going to be adding our dimension. So let's duplicate our bottom layer. We're going to use the rectangular select, feather and round. Select our a portion. I'm going to delete that. And you'll notice that I apparently did not have undo clear. I didn't have an alpha channel applied to that paper. So let's do that again. Let's delete. Now we have an empty space, a transparent space. I'm going to do the multiply to our outer selection there, and I reduce the opacity. So let's move the next layer up is the feather layer. So let's do filter, light and shadow, and drop shadow. So I will continue to move up my layer palette and add dimension to all of the components here on the page. And in the end, this is what it looks like. My next step here would be to save the GIMP XCF file, which maintains all of our layers, so that if I needed to come back and change something, I could. Then I would export it to as a JPEG and save it so that I can send it to the printer when I'm all finished and put it into a bound book as a gift to you guys to help you in preserving the memories of your family. I've prepared the layouts of each of the 52 weekly layouts that I've been doing. They're available at my website, www.beandesigns.com. There's more information there to let you know how to get that. Feel free to come and join. Each of the templates will be available once the layout video is released. If you enjoyed this video, which I hope that you did, please like it. And check out my channel because there are other weekly layout videos there, as well as just basic tutorials on using GIMP to create your digital scrapbook pages. While you're there, feel free to subscribe and click on the bell so you can be notified when a new video is released. I encourage you to continue preserving memories for your future generations through your scrapbooking. Bye bye until next week.